Bokassa III didn't just fire his prime minister, he restructured him into bite-sized ecosystem enrichment pellets for his pet crocodiles. This was the same guy who allegedly served parliamentary critics as lunch meat at his palace buffet, proving humanity hasn't evolved past might makes right since the Visigoths. We've just added silverware. Here's the twisted punchline that should make your prefrontal cortex tap out. This walking Napoleon complex, who spent $1.6 million on a diamond crown, got convicted of exactly 0 counts of cannibalism. Why? Because proving someone ate political opponents requires either leftovers or witnesses. It's like trying to subpoena a Taco Bell wrapper 3 days after the nuclear apocalypse. Modern dictators take notes. If you're gonna commit atrocities, do it with panache. Bokassa didn't just jail dissidents, he turned them into interactive dining experiences. Imagine sitting at a state banquet slurping beef stew while your ambassador whispers, "Jean-Paul missed the budget meeting," and the chef's special tastes, familiar. This isn't medieval tyranny, it's Gordon Ramsay meets Jeffrey Dahmer with uranium-grade deniability. The legal loophole here is darker than Bokassa's walk-in freezer. International courts require physical evidence of human consumption, teeth marks on femurs, voodoo rituals, human ribs in the palace kitchen, cultural misunderstandings. A chef's diary reading Tuesday, defrost opposition leader Shanks, satirical performance art. France even airlifted this gourmet ghoul to safety post-coup because somebody needed their uranium contracts. Colonialism's golden rule. Genocide equals bad but resource-rich cannibals. Business casual. Worst part, the human stake allegations weren't even the dumbest thing about his reign. This clown invested in $1 million solid gold replica of Napoleon's bed while his people rationed cockroaches. He declared himself Africa's only emperor while wearing clown car military medals. He charged schoolchildren for mandatory uniforms. Sold through his personal textile monopoly. Think Elon Musk's Twitter takeover, but with more tiger attacks and human tartare. And yet, every NGO on Earth clutched their pearls over the cannibalism rumors while ignoring his officially documented child soldier battalions and Olympic-grade embezzlement. It's textbook human absurdity. We'll moralize about taboo proteins but yawn at systemic poverty. Like protesting Hannibal Lecter's seasoning choices while ignoring his parking tickets. Final truth bomb. Bokassa died free, diabetic, and unrepentant in 1996. His tombstone should read, "Got away with literal murder." The real horror isn't that a dictator ate people. It's that we built a world where he could swallow nations whole and still get dessert. Bokassa's coronation wasn't just decadent. It was a masterclass in financial arson. $20 million flushed into a single day's theatrics, while the Central African Republic's GDP choked on dust. Napoleon's ghost giggled somewhere as Bokassa commissioned the same Parisian jeweler who decorated Marie Antoinette's neck to forge him a 2,000-carat crown. 1 pound of pure diamonds dangling over a country where 12-year-olds traded kidneys for bags of rice. Modern analogy. Picture Kanye West holding a Met Gala in a Haitian tent city while auctioning UN relief rice for Yeezy boosts. The crown alone sucked 20% of the nation's annual budget, accidentally proving Keynesian economics works if your only industry is looting. This emperor's delusion had layers. 60 imported limousines for a country with less paved road than Rhode Island's parking lots. A golden eagle thrown heavier than the average citizen's life savings, which, admittedly, was half a cassava root. Even the champagne fountains were French, imported Moet for a ceremony that officially bankrupted an entire nation. My ex-wife Karen once maxed out 3 credit cards for a Times Square New Year's Eve party. Bokassa did the same but with live cheetahs and uranium mining contracts as collateral. You know it's bad when a man's scepter costs more than his country's entire education budget. Congo-Brazzaville airlifted in truffles for the feast, prioritizing fungi over feeding humans like some dystopian Portland brunch spot. Meanwhile, malnourished kids licked bark glue off trees while Bokassa's chefs perfected lion steak tartare. 50 metric tons of flowers shipped from Europe for the procession routes. Streets his own child laborers paved for 0 francs and 1 whipping per hour. Textbook tyranny, when your parade confetti is literal embezzled cash. France footed part of the bill purely to keep uranium mines humming. A neo-colonial CFA franc hustle wrapped in humanitarian glitter. Modern NGOs blew gaskets over alleged human steak recipes, while ignoring Bokassa charging third-graders for patriotic uniforms woven in his mistress's sweatshop. Moral outrage loves a clickable cannibal headline but snoozes through economic vampirism. Like boycotting a drug lord over his cilantro preference while he floods your neighborhood with fentanyl. The Coronation's piece de resistance. A Versailles-tier sword he never once unsheathed unless buttering toast. Its scabbard held more diamonds than Botswana exports in a decade. Cartoonish excess that made Kim Jong-il's movie binges look like a monastic vow. 60 nations sent diplomats to watch this farce. The Pope sent regrets, but probably snorted holy water laughing. Post-party, Bokassa gifted officials solid gold pens to sign decrees exterminating school protesters. Dictator logic where stationery is permanent but human rights are disposable. Today's billionaires play similar games. Bezos's penis rocket joyrides funded by warehouse workers pissing in Gatorade bottles. The rich dress their violence in velvet, but the bones crunch the same. All this happened 1 year before the International Monetary Fund approved his loan for agricultural development. The funds built exactly 0 farms but financed Bokassa's personal crocodile zoo. Colonialism's godsend, always starving the horse to feed the flies. Africa's only emperor died richer than Satan's tax accountant, while CAR's literacy rate flatlined lower than his prison cholesterol. We gawk at the gilded train wreck, but ignore the tracks leading straight to our own complacency caboose. Bokassa's royal chef Gabriel testified post-regime about his freezer curation. Thigh steaks labeled opponent tartare, livers tagged VIP pate. One shelf marked emergency rations in the emperor's kindergarten scrawl. Modern gastronomes weep over heritage tomatoes, while ignoring banquet halls where the main course goes missing after criticizing the regime. Given proper hashtag justification, half of Silicon Valley's vegan CEOs would gnaw a dissident femur if promised blockchain gains. His emperor's special banquet fused oligarchy with deli counter logistics. Ministers' gnawed mystery cuts off gilded plates as peasants scavenged roadkill. Imagine Black Rock executives devouring Kobe sliders at a human trafficking demi-mondane's estate. Bokassa just eliminated the pretense. His chefs roasted dissidents with the precision of bomb technicians. Ethics dissolved faster than aspic in July Sun. The French ambassador reportedly praised the terroir notes, proving Western diplomacy has stronger stomachs than consciences. Evidence metastasized when investigators discovered Gabriel's kitchen ledger between cassava recipes. Defense minister prefers opponents well done. Education secretary requests lean cuts. My divorce attorney employed similar compartmentalization. Charged $900/hour to ruin lives while posting be kind tweets. Bokassa merely honored carnivorous honesty. Danish engineers installing palace freezers noted organic frost patterns from frequent door traffic. France responded by expediting guillotine shipments, the colonial equivalent of leaving 5 stars after a war crime stay. Modern parallel. Google providing AI targeting algorithms to genocidaires between carbon neutral by 2030, press releases. Zuckerberg would have live-streamed Bokassa's atrocities in spatial reality, while trademarking Omnicide TM, Gabriel's grand finale, serving a dissident's heart as leadership vitamins to Bokassa's heir. Teen projectile vomited for 8 hours, the sole instance of karma in this fable. Compare to Musk selling flamethrowers while colonizing Mars for billionaires. Bourgeois atrocity just updates its serving temperature. The cook's demise. 3 bullets garnished with polonium tea. Coroners listed COD as dietary oversight. Surviving ministers now advise the World Bank on resource management efficiency. Global capitalism, where mass murder becomes a resume perfume. When you hear a senator lament fiscal waste, remember, their moral accounting makes Enron look amateur. Dig in, vultures. The feast never ends. When French paratroopers stormed Bokassa's refrigerated utopia in '79, they didn't find Marxist rebels or stolen uranium. Just 72 kilos of ethical no-carbon footprint protein trademark arranged like a Michelin star charcuterie board. Sergeant Pierre Leclerc vomited into his helmet upon discovering thigh tartare nestled beside vanilla ice cream. Proof that evil isn't theatrical. It's storage logistics. Modern equivalent. Nestlé draining aquifers while sponsoring climate change PSAs. Bukowski was wrong. There's no cannibalism among hyenas. They lack the freezer space. The real horror wasn't the frozen symphony pieces but the menu codes. Yellow post-its read Secretariat cuts, high heat for tenderizing, the gastronomic version of corporate team building. Defense Minister Mandaba ordered enemies crispy, while Finance Director Yanga demanded marrow extraction to maximize ROI on bone capital. Compare this to Goldman Sachs collateralizing life insurance policies of terminal AIDS patients in '83. Exploitation tastes better sous vide. Bokassa simply removed the middleman between cruelty and catering. Electricity bills expose the punchline. The palace consumed more kilowatts chilling dissidents than powering the national grid. Technicians found a walk-in freezer maintained at -25°C labeled Presidential Dairy, which wasn't wrong if you count lactating mothers in Bokassa's breeding incentives program. Modern parallel. Saudi princes building ski resorts in deserts during water rationing. Absurdity is universal. Thermostats differ. France's response. A theatrical coup packaged as humanitarian intervention. The colonial equivalent of shutting down your meth lab after the neighbors complain about the aesthetic. Foreign Minister François Poncet wept for Africa's soul, while quietly laundering Bokassa's diamond bribes through nice casinos. Today, BP spills oil in Niger Delta villages, then funds dolphin sanctuaries in Monaco. Hypocrisy recycles faster than nuclear waste. The coup's piece de resistance. Apprentice chef Marcel Nguere testifying that Bokassa's last meal request was Toscanini's spleen with fava beans. A joke historians missed because symphonic cannibalism sounds redundant. The UN tribunal gasped though they just pardoned Pinochet for arthritis management. Moral outrage is seasonal. French troops confiscated the freezer but left the skeleton of Bokassa's personal clown in the basement. Unironic symbolism. Worldwide, jesters starve while tyrants feast on punchlines. Surviving chefs now run elite restaurants in Lyon. One earned 3 stars for deconstructed long pig with accountability foam. Bokassa's sommelier curates wine lists for Lockheed Martin execs. The real cannibals weren't in the kitchen. They wore suits, calculated mass suffering in Excel, and called it geopolitics. The pantry's full, Pierre. Always is. France's deposing of Bokassa was less regime change and more witness relocation. While PR teams spun fairy tales of liberation, they quietly gifted him a golden parachute. 4 years chilling in a shadow near Paris, nibbling croissants while Central African children mined his diamonds on starvation wages. Modern equivalent. Nestlé executives crying over drought videos while privatizing Congo's last freshwater springs. Colonialism just outsourced its digestion. Even his 1986 trial was performance art, like prosecuting Hannibal Lecter while leasing him your pancreas. Sentenced to death. Commuted faster than a Goldman Sachs subpoena. They imprisoned him in a villa with satellite TV and a personal chef. The only difference between punishment and resort living is the brochure font. Meanwhile, Parisian think tanks praised African accountability between snorts of Bolivian marching powder. Today, warlords vacation in Qatar and tech billionaires buy Polynesian islands to dodge genocide tribunals. The rich lick the plate, the poor wash it. Bokassa's final punchline. Croaking mid-bite during a birthday feast, choking on ego and entitlement-fueled meat sweats. His heart exploded like a confetti cannon of cosmic justice. The autopsy listed natural causes, which in dictator speak translates to karma finally cleared its throat. Modern parallel. CEOs dropping dead during TED talks about mindfulness. We pretend irony's a seasoning, not the main ingredient. France buried him in a gold-plated coffin, literally gilding the turd. His epitaph should have read, "Here lies colonialism's doggy bag." But the real tombstone, the fact that French troops still guard uranium mines in his old empire while lecturing Mali about resource sovereignty. It's the Vegas magic act of geopolitics. Watch the genocide vanish beneath mineral contracts. So what's the takeaway? Savagery wears a tie now. The same banks that finance Bokassa's cutlery collection fund ESG reports about sustainable oppression. The UN installs solar panels while auctioning refugee camps to Elon Musk for Mars rehearsals. We're not evolved, just better at PR. CTA. Smash that like button before it's repurposed as a human femur paperweight for the next billionaire's skull collection. Subscribe or risk becoming an uncredited footnote in capitalism's cookbook. Bell icons there. Use it. It's the only alarm that might wake you before the ovens preheat.